We're moving mountains today. So I am just so honored to introduce Grandma Sharon Riegie Maynard. She has been with us since the very beginning, and she has been before us for decades working on this, healing people, getting to the big answers. I call her my galactic grandma. And when I met her on Zoom one on one before we did Grandma Live, she had wanted to make sure that the Grandma Live was inclusive of all aspects of grandmother, not just Indigenous. And there are so many wisdom keepers, and I assured her that that was my intention. And when I met her, I was like, this is my grandma. And we connected on many levels, and I've worked one-on-one with her. Highly recommend. And I don't with many. So thank you, Sharon, for joining us here today. And I'm looking forward to your offering and your circle and your words of wisdom. So I'm going to spotlight you so that you are in the spotlight and I'm taking mine off because it's time to spotlight the elders and listen. Aho, right?
Oh, well, I didn't sleep all night. A little nervous. Very important work that we've been engaged with. I began with lots of questions in 1971, learned more in 89, a little more in 94, and it's kept rolling on. And what was shown as I continue to ask those questions, the question was, what has kept humanity trapped in domination cultures? And even more important, what is to be done to dismantle and eliminate those forms? The answers was surprising, was contrary to some of the common personal growth information out there, but as I applied it and worked with it with my clients, I found it so very powerful. So I've been saying the same thing for the last 30, 40 years because the message is the same. How do we get out from under the entrapment? How do we end it? And it has involved breaking apart lots of structures. There are various names that have been given to women who are using their spiritual gifts. Elder, goddess, witch, healer, grandmother, seer, visioner, wicked, emotional, mystic. And over eons of time, those in female bodies have created ways to be safe, mostly by being silent, by hiding, by obeying, and even diminishing all that is female, including attacking their sisters. And I've seen that when I first began the work, and it began to lessen and lessen, especially in the last, I would say, 6 years. And I attribute that to the fact that we are getting some of the internal seeds, if you will, that which allows such forms to manifest, eliminated. But we're not finished yet. But today there is a greater awakening within women. Knowledge of the past, especially through witch hunts, seems to be really high on a lot of people's agenda, as it ought to be. In addition, you who have in any way noticed what's going on in the world see that there are many of our family members, male, female, young, old, literally putting their lives in the path of danger in order to say, no more, no more. So today I realized we have built upon the shoulders of those who have gone before. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and many of them gave up their brilliance to be safe, so that that women female lineage could continue. So today, as we call a family, we will include those grandmothers, great grandmothers, and mothers to be with us as we make this next leap. Hundreds of years before the dominating invaders, who used male bodies, by the way, they used male bodies. That's not our soul brothers. They began their attack to intentionally destroy the authority, visions, and gifts of souls who were birthed into female bodysuits, because we have, as that song so clearly said, the greatest threat to the status quo: spiritual women. The fruits she will bear, the power she has access to. And it's that very power that was ripped away so long ago, and that just beginning in the 2000s has been restored and been shared and shared and shared until we all have access to it. So I want you to begin your journey. If you like to close your eyes, you can. But there you are in that ancient village before there was any hint of invader or dominating. And they are orderly, loving, they're respectful and playful. You are in that village and from such a heritage. So just take a second or two to sense in the way you do, whether it's feeling, imagination, clear seeing, what is happening in that village. That is our home here. Anchor those sensations in your present moment in the body, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And notice as you do that and you see those in the village doing that, there's an extensive evolutionary system, a power center, a chakra system that lights up within the bodysuits of the male and of the female in that village. A natural path of evolution. It infuses the bodysuit. The neurons in the brain coalesce around it, into it. It's a natural pathway to male's mission to nurture with a strong heart, and female's mission to lead, to design, to discern with wisdom, and to decree with authority what cannot be in the presence because it's damaging. So there it is. And sense the balance, male, female, the respect, the honor of each of the other. This is home. This is before, and it's yours. And now, in your imagination, notice that the women in that village you included kind of wake up and become aware of a new sensation in the air, something different. And one by one, they sense that energy and they turn toward the path and the bridge on the path that leads to the village, and they know that there is something coming toward the bridge. That's different. And so they signal to one another to move as one toward that bridge, that path, and they signal to the men to mind the village fires, mind the precious children. And the women, you one of them, travel effortlessly toward the bridge while activating an energy boundary around the women, each of you, around the village, around the pathway. Your right to decree what comes and does not come into your village. And as one, you all stop, just an appropriate distance from the bridge, and we freeze that in time, just for a moment. Now we here in the future stand with them. We are there with them, bringing the energy of future with us, and between that distant ancient village of past that began the destruction of women and humanity, and now what we call future, we call our ancestors, mothers, grandmothers, ourselves in those lifetimes, our sisters, to wake up from those quiet times of past along the timeline. Wake up. Wake up, not just from their grave silence, but from their inner silence and from their pain, and rise up and gather with us. We take and collapse the timeline. And they gather and sense those masses moving as one to stand there with the ancient village sisters. Now, from this present moment, this future time in which our circle is being held today, we come back with an authority that had been ripped away. So we call in our female spiritual connection to Sophia and her collective field of authority from their home in the Azure Mountains. Sophia, the wisdom to discern that which expands and that which contracts, but in addition, absolute authority to say no more. Notice that group coming and encircling. And in that ancient time, we are here. No time, space, no reality left out. We are here to awaken the authoritative heart and the discernment to stop and end the destruction of domination, to blast all of that away, allowing our home energy of all love and beauty. That's why we stand today there with them. Now imagine as we wake that frozen group up, and there it is expanded beyond what they had available to them, with awareness they had no knowledge they would need. We stand in our awakened wisdom and discernment. Those in our timeline of past, present, even future, together in a moment of now, surrounding this female circle from the ancient village in which domination was ready to enter and anchor. We are all encircled by the Sophia Collective, and the azure light shines. Now, those who have in any way felt that sensation of fear, of anger, the energy of not of love, of discounting, of domination, of violence, of not of the light, you were correct. It did exist among us. And here it is at its beginning point. At its beginning point. And we are saying, we know you now. We name you constricting, demeaning, intending to attack with violence, with deceit, to dominate the brilliance of those in our village, past, present, and future. And we know we have that authority, and so claim it. So feel the sensations in this ancient circle. Feel that ripple. Spiritual women, greatest threat to the status quo, because we bear fruit and power. Now watch the circle. Imagine as the women, one by one, thrust their staff into Mother Gaia and stand with the power of Mother Gaia, including her in that discernment and power state. They thrust swords into the power connection to heaven, the power connection secured to heaven, where all exists, to identify, neutral, contain, and absolutely remove any energy of domination into the heavens. And we declare, hear them roar, enough, enough. We see it now, and we decree, not allowed, not allowed. Past, present, future, time, space, galactic, nowhere is it allowed, because we in this moment, in all times, so decree. Remove, deep six, all energies, agendas of domination. Breathe and notice the village, the women there by the path. All women along the timeline of Earth, the Akashic records lift. And here we are in our present circle, all within the Sophia collective, the power of Gaia, and the great power of heart grace. We stand until all is restored to the harmonics of life. That is our decree. Now notice as Sophia herself steps forward in her azure cloak and speaks. I charge you all with teaching this mission forward throughout time to your children and grandchildren, that you send this authority correction backward until all in the past are touched and upgraded. At the first sign of discounting, attack, violence, action, whether coming from women to women, men to women, women to men, or organizations to employees, governments to citizens, not allowed. Mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters are in circle with our swords in the ground, our staff in the ground, our swords into the heavens, and the azure light of Sophia holds us firm. villages, towns, cities, families, individuals, one by one, from this moment forward and back, throughout all time, are cleared. And we hear the sweet song of the group called Sweet Honey in the Rock as they say and sing, "We will not rest until it's done. We will not rest until it's done." Take a moment or two before you come back to your home place to embrace and be embraced by that circle. You are with them, they are with you. And we will not rest until it's done. We so decree, and it is so. I am honored to be with you today. Blessings.